one area that we were able to work with in helping get the overall design and feel, especially with the elevator, was as we look back here, this is where the mechanical room and storage area was going to be. In order to account for the elevator equipment, we needed to have it so close to the elevator
So
itself.
we wouldn't have to encroach on their garage space.
Yeah, so if we were just saying, hey, we're going to put the elevator equipment, it would go right next to the garage. Well, we don't want to see that in a garage. And so we're able to talk to the architect and with our owner
Design
say,
team.
hey, if we switch the mechanical room and the storage room, just by having a simple switch like that, we can get a conduit and be able to get the mechanical equipment for the elevator moved over to the mechanical room. So now it's no longer going to have to be inside a garage. So some of those things that if we can catch in the inception of the project and as we start going through, we can make sure that, hey, we're not stuck in a bind down the road. And so that was one nice thing that we're able to do with this project is, hey, let's take into account what things do we need to think of for the future as we get the elevator going, so that that's all gives us a nice clean look. We don't have something sticking out in a weird location.
It helps them have peace of mind that every small detail has been accounted for and that the attention to detail on their job site is at the highest level it can be.
Yeah, and part of us as we start, and really as we begin any project, we're looking at, what issues or possible concerns might we have, because we start with an elevator and we say, hey, this elevator, what equipment's needed, and if we're looking at a gear driven or a hydraulic elevator, what are those needs that has, and as we talk with our suppliers and our different vendors to help us to accomplish that, we're like, what do you need so that we're not being caught off guard down the road? And we plan that. I mean, even on this slab here, we look at, this has radiant, so we want to come in and put radiant tubing through, but how is that going to line up with, the height of our floor or our finishes? And we want to have some foresight so we can also plan as much as we can in the beginning, so that when we get to the time that, hey, we got flooring coming in, that we're already taking that to account. That's one thing that as we get over to this river room, which is obviously kind of the theme of this house, because we have the river down
Spectacular
below
views of
and
the
great
Provo.
views of the
Yeah.
Provo. So we're going to be taking into account this room as, the type of flooring that we'll be able to go into, bring the river into the house. Is kind of what we're looking to do some cobble or some a
River rock.
pathway that looks like river rock. Yeah, so that'll be something that we're trying to look for, and then give us a insight of catching things or what we need to do in order to have the project move forward, but also make sure we're not caught off as things.
I mean, it happens multiple times a week. You give me a call and say, hey, can you go check this out for me? I just need to make sure that it's going to work with everything down the line.
And that's really where we try to catch anything we can, because sometimes as we look at an architectural plan, you might say, even with our floor drains in the garage, we'll say, hey, how do we want to get this to terminate outside, because we want to make sure that they're going to a certain location. We want to make sure that those areas are
Not going to
draining
be
properly.
affected by the drainage either.
Yep. And that's really where we're looking at, we're going to be planning on the pool, and how do we incorporate the pool, and how can we make sure that at this stage of footing and foundation that we're making those plans and accommodations to make sure we're looking at for the pool. And we really kind of look at each stage as we go through. As windows, we have guys out right now shooting points for the still work, because this house is going to have a lot of still and moment frames that will be built into it. And so part of that is, hey, how do we take into account and any potential issue, and how do we make sure to get that resolved or looked into before we get to hopefully an issue down the road.